3, 2, 1. Hello everybody and welcome. My name is GaaraOfBentonYGO, and today here on this exciting Yu-Gi-Oh video, I'm going to share with you the worst deck you guys have ever seen. My XO Mystic Mine deck. That's right guys, I have stooped to the level of playing the ultimate stun burn deck, Mystic Mine. So if you guys are excited to see this video and hear my reasoning behind the cards, then make sure to smash the like button, subscribe if you guys are new, and let's get started with this video. So, why am I playing Mystic Mine? Well, it's hilarious, and like the duels are just funny. When you're playing against Salamangreats, which most of the time Salamangreats main Twin Twisters anyways, the duels are just fun. And when I was playing against some of the players, like, it got super stressful. I ended up winning most of my games in the end, but it was a stressful kind of game, because it's like, are you gonna draw a Twin Twister? And like a lot of the duels, I ended up with having like 1,500 or less life points before I would pull out the burn. So like, people say the deck's pretty good. I did end up winning in the end, but you gotta think, I ended up with like 1,500 less life points for most of my duels. But without further ado, let's get into the deck profile. So the only monster that I play is I play 3 Lilith, Lady of Lament. This card, if you don't know what it does, is you contribute 1 dark monster, and then you reveal 3 normal trap cards from your deck, and then your opponent randomly selects one. So this is card usually to bring up like Metaverse, or most of the trap cards I play in the deck are normal trap cards. So it's really, really good. And this helps with like some of the plays that I've done is they would like normal summon a monster, or like if I would go first, I draw this and Mystic Mine, I would normal this, not activate the effect because it's a quick effect, and then play Mystic Mine, wait for them to normal summon a monster, then activate Lilith's effect, so then it shuts off their effects, which is a pretty decent play. And then you get just whatever normal trap cards you want. Normally the search is Metaverse, but I've used this to get like Ojama Trio, Ojama Duo, some burn cards. The problem with this card is you can't activate the trap card the turn it's set, but other than that, it is a pretty good card. And that's it for the main deck monsters. Now moving on to the spell cards, we're playing 3 Mystic Mine, obviously. This card's broken, probably needs to be banned, or at least put down to 1. If you put it down to 1, that limits the grind game of this deck, but still pretty good card. As long as it's at 3, gotta play it at 3. And then for our draw cards, we're playing 3 Card of Demise, and then 3 Pot of Duality, because you want to see your Metaverse, you want to have other trap cards. You are playing a stun deck that is mostly trap cards, so you're gonna a lot of the time set like 2 or 3 and pass. So Card of Demise helps you be able to set 5 and pass, and Pot of Duality lets you choose which card you want out of the top 3, which is super good. And then our last 2 spell cards is 2 Wave Motion Cannon. I found that 3 is kind of bricky, that having 3 in your deck, you don't really see it when you see it all the time, but you'll see multiples of it, and I don't know, I don't really want to see multiples of this card at first. Like turn 2, 3, 4, I kind of want to see multiples of this card. Yeah, I know, it sounds kind of weird saying that the game's gonna go past like 2 or 3 turns, but like turns 3 and 4, you want to see multiples, but you don't really want to see multiples starting off, because you want to get it to where your opponent has like 5 Ojama tokens and that sort of thing. So I play this at 2. And then now for the trap cards, the way you're going to activate Mystic Mine on your opponent's turn is 3 Metaverse, pretty self-explanatory. And then our other like kind of normal trap card, Searcher, is 3 Trap Trick. I've had Trap Tricks since when I was playing Altergeist, so I got these dirt cheap compared to what they are now. But yeah, 3 Trap Trick, most amazing card in the deck. I can't afford Extravagance right now. I had 2 Extravagance, but I traded them off because I didn't think I was ever going to play them. So Trap Trick is a very good option for that. And then our last kind of draw trap card is 2 Balance of Judgment. Now, what Balance of Judgment does is you add up how many cards your opponent has on their field, subtract it from the amount of cards you have on your field and in your hand, and then you draw that many cards. So I was dueling against Invoked 101 one day, and he had 5 Ojama tokens and set 5 cards. I had Mystic Mind and Balance of Judgment, so I just went +6, or +5, and it was great because I just drew 6 cards and like replenished everything that I needed. So it was super good. So a lot of people don't want to play this card anymore for like Unending Nightmare and some other cards, but I think this card is super, super good. Next, for our Ojamas, we're playing 3 Ojama Trio and 2 Ojama Duo. The reason why we're playing only 2 Ojama Duo is because it only gives 2 tokens, and a lot of times the 3 tokens is better. So that's why we're doing this. But we wanted to play at least 2 Ojama Duo. That way we could search it off Trap Trick if we needed to. A lot of times if my opponent, if I already have Mystic Mind on the field, then I'll set Ojama Trio off of Lilith or off of Trap Trick. But yeah. Next, for our burn cards, we're playing 3 Secret Barrel, which this burns your opponent for 200 for every card on their field and in their hand. Secret Blast burns your opponent 300 for every card they control. And then Just Desserts burns your opponent for 500 for every monster they control. These are our main ways that we burn our opponent for game. And then we also will, for some like spot monster removal, we're playing 2 Ring of Destructions. The Lost Ark because it looks the coolest. I could have played ultis, but the ulti is for my side deck, which I'll explain once we get there. So those are our main burn cards, our main way to win the game. And then last but not least, cards to stop our opponent from blowing up our Mystic Mind. We are playing 2 Dark Bribes and then 1 Solemn Judgment. This is kind of self-explanatory stops. We're only really worried about spell trap removal for Mystic Mind. We're not really worried about monster effects, so Dark Bribe's really good. And then we don't really care about their advantage because we just negated their card that stops them from playing the game. And then Solemn Judgment's super good because you can always activate it almost for free. So pretty good. Now, moving on to the extra deck. I will say that my extra deck for this deck is kind of bad because I don't have the full cards for it. Now I know what cards I need to order, so there will be an update before I play. There will be an update after I deck profile this deck after the Tulsa Regional in like 2 weeks. But right now we're playing 2 Link Spiders, and these are super important for the mirror match. Pretty much everything in the extra deck is important for the mirror match because you don't really need your extra deck because you only summon 1 Lilith. But the way you get monsters for your extra deck is for when your opponent gives you Ojama tokens. So we're playing 2 Link monsters, 2 Link Spiders, 1 Proxy Dragon, and then 1 Pentastag. The Pentastag is really important for the mirror match because once you get your kind of pseudo boss monster for the deck for the mirror match, then you can make a Pentastag underneath it and make it piercing, which is really good to attack the Ojama tokens your opponent has on the field. So that way you can actually like do damage for whatever it's pointing to. So a lot of times it'll do Proxy Dragon and then Pentastag underneath it. So that way you can attack the Ojama tokens. Pretty good. Not the most amazing play in the world, but it's still pretty good. It's kind of awkward to set up because you have to do the Link Spider, then the Pentastag, and then you do the Proxy Dragon with the Link Spider in the last token. But it's still okay. And then the card that stops burn damage is 3 Secure Gardenas. And so what this does is, after this card is special summoned, you take no effect damage for the rest of the turn. Once per turn, if you would take battle or effect damage, you can take no damage. Cannot be used as link material. You can only use 1 Secure Gardena per turn. This card is what saves you in the mirror match. It's super good, and then you just burn your opponent for game. So that's it for the Cyberse Link monsters, and then just some generic Link monsters that you'll never summon. One Cerberus, one Phoenix, one Unicorn, and then one Trisbania. Now, moving on to the side deck. The side deck is also kind of okay. It's mostly meant for the mirror match, and there's some cards that I need to add to it before the Tulsa Regional. And so, but starting off, we're playing 3 DDD Rebel King Leonis. So what this card does is when you take effect damage, except during the damage step, you can special summon this card from your hand, and if you do, gain life points equal to the damage you took. You take no effect damage. So basically, you take damage, you special summon it, you gain the damage back that you took, and then you, as long as this card's face up on the field, you take no effect damage, and it's a 2600 beat stick, which is super good. So one thing that you can potentially do is when you summon Pentastag, then you can, you summon Pentastag and this monster is in the zone underneath Pentastag, then this is now a 2600 attack point piercing monster, which is kind of relevant. And then for just some like generic spell cards, playing 3 Shared Ride, super good against a lot of the meta decks. And then we're playing 3 Twin Twister, which are just, I mean, they're back row removal. And then we're also playing 2 Terraforming. And so the Terraforming is for going second, so that way you can search your Mystic Mine and then just activate it straight out of your hand. You don't really need Metaverse if you're going second, because you just search it and then activate it because your opponent's going to have monsters. That's the reasoning behind that. And then we played 1 Goddess Scourge's Oracle. What this does is it lets you look at the top 3 cards of your opponent's deck and put them in any order you want. This was another card for the mirror match. Really, you only side for the mirror match. And so what this does is it lets you give your opponent the most unopportune card out of the top 3 cards of the deck. It's kind of okay. And then last but not least, 1 Ring of Destruction to help with spot removal, monster removal. Pretty good. But yeah, guys, that's gonna be it. I hope you guys did enjoy this deck profile. If you guys did, make sure to smash the like button, subscribe if you guys are new, and if you guys want to see me do some duel videos with this deck, let me know. But I think we all know how this deck works. But that's gonna be it, guys. Hope you guys enjoyed.